If we're not, it's Daniel's fault. Okay, I guess we
It's usually my fault, anyways.
wait a couple of seconds
Sure.
for some people to
Just
come in.
trying to refresh this thing so I can.
All right, it's there for me. Now, is anyone in the chat, or is anyone coming? What time is it, anyways?
It's 7:17.
Oh yeah, it's still
We're not in the same time zone though.
a little early. Okay. So we got Retro, Fabled Thunder,
Ooh,
Sour Candy,
retro.
Josh.
Oh, I'm trying to get the stream.
Here it
CC.
finally popped up for me.
You got a fan, CC?
I have a fan. Hello, friends.
Fanned
Can you send me
candy.
the link to your stream? Cause
Citron jam.
Yeah, we should all post it before we begin, right?
Yes.
That way we actually have people.
Also gonna post it in the chat here for you, CC.
TY.
There we go.
I was about to do that, but I guess that works.
Too late. Too late.
Yeah.
Time for Twitter. I'm gonna tweet this Twitter.
It's Daniel. No, Baniel. Sorry, it's Baniel Durgerson.
That's right. It's Baniel Durgerson.
No.
That's what they during my stream this morning. They came up with all sorts of nicknames for me. So that's one of them.
Nice.
The B in Baniel is for bad because I was really bad at that game. So
which game was it?
It was this this fan made Majora's Mask Master Quest.
Oh.
And let me tell you, it sure was it was upsetting and
Now,
some.
Is it just the dungeons?
Let me tell ya.
Maya says we look pretty neat.
Oh, goodness me. It was interesting. I mean, there was some really cool ideas, but there was definitely some parts where it was just kind of tedious.
You could tell it wasn't Nintendo.
Yeah, like this, they were doing like remix dungeons, and there's some stuff in the overworld that's changed around. But I've only gotten through the first dungeon, and there was this part where you have to drop to like a platform that's suspended in the air by going to the floor above, and then dropping through one of the holes in the floor. You got to drop through the right one to land on the platform. So first of all, you have to go up there or whatever
like
to make sure you fall
Jabu's
through.
belly.
Oh yeah, just like that. But you got to keep going to make sure you drop in the right hole. You got to go through at least two of them because you have to collect. One of the straight fairies is in one hole, and then the other one is actually the right one to go through. So you got to do this at least twice here. And then there's some treasure chests you have to get as well. And basically you just have to go dropping through all these holes and stuff like 4 or 5 times. And then like go back upstairs and go through this corridor with all these enemies, and then go back through and drop through the hole again. And then it was just very frustrating. So it was just it was very fun, but also very angering.
So was it only the dungeons that were mixed?
Oh no, so far there's been overworld stuff that's like changed too. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and they give you a bottle like right off the bat. So, like before you even get to Clocktown.
Oh.
So that's neat.
Yeah.
The most powerful item in the Zelda universe.
That is what they said.
Empty bottle.
And then they didn't give you one in Breath of the Wild.
Nope. Because the game would be over too soon.
Great video, Daniel, says Matt.
Oh, thanks, Matt.
Does it mean yours that went up today?
Oh, maybe.
Or the stream.
It's a big.
Please
could
clarify.
Either. I don't know. Clarify, Matt. Either way, thank you.
Sir, he's just making fun of your name now. Like that's all he's been posting.
I'm twittering. Come podcast.
With Faniel Zurgerson. Zaniel Zurgerson.
Yes, that's me.
All right, I think we can begin.
No. Yeah, we can.
Okay. We better listen to Faniel Zurgerson, or else our names will change too.
Yeah, that's what'll happen if you don't.
Yeah. All right. I hate this part.
You're good. Don't worry. I believe in you.
I don't like the parts where I talk.
I believe, though. I believe.
Emmanuel Nergerson.
Jeez. The Dragon Break one you posted. Thanks, Matt. I like that
Joe
one
has
too.
a question for you, Daniel.
No, it's not custom made. It's very much store bought. So, thank you,
Where's
Joe
the
99.
drawing and thumbnail from? The drawing and the thumbnails from Nintendo, from their Symphony concert this year. And since it has art style or characters from 3 different games, that's why we use it, or why I use it, because it represents different games instead of just having a thumbnail that represents one game.
So it's cool to see Ocarina of Time Link drawn that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
He looks
yeah.
real pretty. He's a pretty man.
Oh, birthday.
Hero of the Flood game. That was
No.
Nergerson.
years ago. Alright. Hello everyone and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast. I am Jesse. You're here with us. No, I don't want to do it. Do I have to do this?
You don't have to if you don't want to. You can just say, everybody, you know who we are.
Can you do it?
Oh, you want me to do it?
But don't tell them I asked you to. They'll think I'm weird.
Okay, I won't tell them. It's a secret. Cece, don't tell them. Alright, cool. Hello, everybody. I'm Daniel. You probably don't know me as Game Over Daniel. I don't. This is not my
We know
YouTube
you as
channel.
Samuel Zergerson.
You may know me as Manuel Nergerson or some variant. Welcome to the Hylian Gamescast episode 82. Not 92. That's 10 weeks from now. And I'm joined today with Game Over Jesse. This is his channel. And Cece, who I guess you now are going by Princess Usagi.
Yeah.
All over the interwebs. So, yes. Today we're going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog and some Zelda stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it's gonna be a bad
stuff.
time. Nintendo related stuff.
And then
Yeah,
we're
so
going to end answering questions.
yes, we're gonna end answering questions with the Zelda mailbag. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Sometimes we just got too many questions. We just can't answer all of them. So if you do want to make sure that your question gets answered, totally head on over to patreon.com, check out Game Over Jesse's thing, and for just even $1, whatever you want, no harm, no foul, you can join this awesome list of people who are already patrons, including Wild Horse 64, Samuel, Ranjamin, Foxo, Andrew, Jonathan, David, Amanda, Jacob, Derek, Blargnar, that's not me, Michelle, Mandy Lee Plays, Michelle, Michael, Elmer, Bootleg Boy, Vortex, Gus, Monica, Link Use the Triforce, Lunarium, Shadow to Us, Rusty, Lovable Christy, Fallen Echo, and Halo Justin. And thank you guys. And Jesse, where are we going? Where are we starting off today with the thing?
I guess we will start off with the Sonic thing since we don't, or I don't have it listed. So we can just talk about it. All right.
Sure, let's talk about it. Sonic, the movie, the Hedgehog.
So
trailer
so
occurred.
Daniel, Cece, the greatest movie of the year just had a trailer. So
it's out now, or it's already out. Avengers.
No, not Avengers.
That's not. Oh, you're saying that's not the best movie of the year?
No, so I came out of
Pretty
that
sure it
movie.
is.
I came out of that
So,
movie
Detective
thinking it was
Pikachu.
best movie. Now, I am confident that Sonic the Hedgehog will be best movie. Like, people will only refer to it not as Sonic, not as the best movie of 2019, not the best movie ever. It'll just be renamed best movie. Because that trailer was special. We had Sonic, and we had something that resembled Sonic. And
We
then-
had a creature that
And
was
then-
blue.
And then we
It's
had
blue.
Jim Carrey, and it was amazing.
Yes. Okay,
I
so
love Jim Carrey though.
I really
have
do
to say.
too. I will say that the worst part of the Sonic trailer, from what we saw, is Sonic. Um, like you could take him out of this. You could just Photoshop him, just take him out of the trailer, edit the trailer completely, and just play it straight with just everything but Sonic in it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, wow, this looks like a good, interesting movie that won't be
Mhm.
divisive at all. and,
Right.
and but like there's some debate about his look and stuff. I think Jim Carrey,
So which look?
like you're trying to for Sonic's obviously, but for Robotnik's or Dr. Eggman's look.
So he had the first
as
one,
well.
and then he had a different one at the end of the trailer
Yeah.
where he was.
So I like that there's kind of one that's more grounded, and then there's also one that's a kind of a look that's more true to the design. But
Yeah.
I think Jim Carrey's a good choice. If you're trying to cast someone who's like literally a cartoon villain in real
Mhm.
life, I think Jim Carrey's a good choice for that because he's a very animated actor.
When
Yes.
he had the
Um,
movie A Series of Unfortunate Events.
I liked
He was
him
very,
as
very cartoony in it as well.
Mm,
Oh, and the
As
mask,
usual.
but that's like
And
a
the mask.
cartoony hero.
yeah, that's true as well. So we're still going in the chat. Daniel Lurgerson. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh
They-
boy.
You can see the love from the chat.
This is Gurianiel What's happening? Gurianiel Lagans.
I can't even pronounce that one. So, Cece,
Oh no.
what were your thoughts on the trailer? Because I asked you to watch it before you came on. So,
okay. So I just watched it like 5 minutes ago. Sorry, my mouth's kind of full. I kind of laughed at the way Sonic looks. But I don't know. Maybe if you warm up to it, because I kind of laughed at Detective Pikachu at first too. But I'm actually kind of like excited for it. But with Sonic, I don't know. My initial thought was like, wait, really? Like, is this really a thing? And Jesse told me, oh yeah, Sonic's kind of a meme right now, and I was like, oh, I'd seen him on my timeline, but I didn't realize that it was actually a movie.
oh, wow.
Yeah, until you told me. But I love Jim Carrey, so
Yeah.
when I saw him, I was like, oh, yes. And his short part in the trailer was quite amusing, cutting off the marine guy, army guy. You know.
Yeah, the government people.
So, this is definitely the type of like movie I didn't expect to be kind of like a live action thing ever until I guess now. So I guess most of my thoughts are just kind of processing it visually, processing Sonic visually.
Yeah. It's like seeing
And,
that Pokemon trailer for the first time.
Yeah.
And being like, are they supposed to be furry? What's going on?
And who's his voice? Who's doing his voice? I think all I heard from him was like, "Is that all you got?"
Oh.
And meow.
I'll look it up really quick. I wonder if
That
they're getting
meow.
the cartoon voice.
It sounded Sonic-y enough. I mean,
Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounded
like-
like Sonic.
yeah, he fit the part vocally. It's just
Mhm.
it's
Wait,
definitely
look.
I don't know. Like I feel like if they made his design just a little
Ben
Less
Schwartz.
weird. Is it Ben Schwartz?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. Do you know who that is?
Wait, I can't put a face to that.
You don't know who Ben Schwartz is?
Ben-
Just Google him and
if
just
you're
you'll
watching
be like
this,
that
Ben, I
guy. Oh, that
apologize.
guy.
Please don't be
Like
mad at us.
he's probably not watching this, but he's one of those actors that just Google him and you're like, oh, that guy.
Well, that's what I used to think too. And then, like, I was like, no one from Nintendo is gonna watch our podcast. And then
Oh,
there's
wait, maybe I don't know him.
developers that are like, hey, seen your podcast.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't think I
So
know
he was
this
in
guy.
the Lego movie,
He's in at least several things.
Star Wars. He's the
Yeah,
voice
he's
of BB-8.
Oh,
That's
that's
interesting.
cute.
I'm just pulling up his IMDb. Yeah, he's in Parks and Rec. He was a stormtrooper as well, apparently. All right, that's neat.
Mm.
Oh.
We should
what
have
else
him
are
on the
they gonna-
podcast and just be like, now,
He
did you
won't.
take this serious? Or was it,
He
was it
won't.
an in-office meme the entire time?
Possibly.
Oh, he plays as
Oh, wow,
Leonardo,
he's in-
too.
Huh.
DuckTales.
Yes.
So he's got a lot of voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I don't recognize his face.
He's a comedy man.
Cammy.
He does the comedy.
Cammy.
Yeah. Well, good for him.
Yeah, I mean it's good. He does the Sonic well. I think he captures that sort of aloof, cool guy,
Yeah.
whatever Sonic is.
Yeah.
But
So what
Yeah,
did
I
you
feel
think
like
of
that-
the... Sorry. Go on.
No, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, what did you think of the I didn't see it, but like there were parts to where Sonic's fur, or whatever you want to call it, was like electric. So do you think that's from him like getting the glowy thing that's in the game when you like jump on the square sparkly thing and it makes him like shine, and then you can kill enemies with like one touch?
Didn't he do that in the trailer too when he went in like a circle and he was just like a glowing ball because he was.
Oh, that's
yeah,
that's
the
just like a
Sonic spin
normal thing
dash.
though.
That's his little spin dash thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that, which is cool. Although the sound effects were like pulled straight from like the Sega Genesis games, and it's like
Isn't that
okay,
great?
definitely it's great, but at the same time, it's kind of like it doesn't really fit though. like
And I
there's
saw
something
that
of a
they
disconnect.
included like the golden rings. How is that gonna?
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
his health. Remember? Like,
Yeah,
as,
but
as soon as the
Okay, for a
government takes all
movie,
of
I
his
don't
rings, he
know.
dies.
oh no, they're after his gold rings.
Yeah, they used one with where he threw it and it kind of opened up a portal, and then
Yeah.
head,
He's-
whatever.
I just
He's
saw
a-
the two kids
He's a
falling
Hoopa.
into a ring or something, and it made
Oh,
that.
yeah, the Pokemon,
Oh yeah, he's the Pokemon Hoopa.
right? Did you see on Twitter that like we're getting like in 2019 we're getting the Pokemon movie, now we're getting the Sonic movie, and then by next year like the Super Smash Brothers universe is going to be no.
Nope, none for me, thanks. oh,
You don't want to see a live action Smash Brothers movie where they have to fight the giant hand at the end?
nope,
I'm
nope,
just
definitely.
thinking of a bunch of cheesy movies like Dead or Alive, Mortal Kombat, and they're all really cheesy.
It's
yeah,
great.
oh boy.
All right, I think we
Oh,
can move
boy.
on to our like a real topic. Not
A
that the
real
movie's
topic.
not real, but like a non-joke thing.
Retro is going nuts in the chat here.
Oh,
Annual Jurgerson.
oh, with the names right.
Laniel Murgerson. Raniel
Raniel
Gergerson.
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 So let's go to the theory list thing, or the makes no sense thing. 'Cause some of them are
Alright.
theories and some of them aren't.
Yeah,
Sorry, I keep eating on your stream.
Oh, it's fine.
it's the eat stream.
Yeah. All right. So, hello everyone. I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse. Here with Daniel and I is our guest, Cece, who you all can find at Princess Usagi. Right? I said it correctly. Princess
Princess
Usagi.
Usagi.
Yes. And you can find her on Twitter, and she has her own Twitch and everything, so go check her out. There'll be a link in the description. But for this video, we're going to be talking about a list that was sent to me from The Gamer that's titled 15 Things That Make No Sense About the Zelda Universe and 10 Fan Theories That Do. Now, these lists are sent to us because on the podcast we have somewhat of a history covering lists that seem like they were just created by someone who had never played the game. Like someone once told them about their time playing a Zelda game, and the other person was just kind of listening while he was drinking at the bar, and then he went home, slept on it, and then tried to write an article 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So that's basically how this.
While drinking again.
Yeah, that's basically how
Yeah.
this article seems like it came about, because a lot of the
Yeah.
stuff in it is just the worst.
The author
Daniel.
was like, has had her laptop open at the bar, and then every time she like finished a paragraph, she'd like slam back a shot, and then like just, you know, this is the only like
I'd be
way I could
concerned for the
explain this.
laptop.
I mean, I would too, actually.
Wait a minute.
there's she's gonna spill. Yeah, I'm worried that like I guess I've
Yeah. So can you
face
take
palms
us to
aplenty
our first one, Daniel? The one that stands out the
If I-
most for you.
if I
And
have
then
to.
CC,
Okay.
you can find yours while he's doing his.
This
Yeah.
is I'm just grabbing the first one on here. So this is something that the author of this article says makes no sense. Okay. Is Wind Waker canon? I don't know why that doesn't make sense. There's a whole prologue for the game. Like when you first start the game, there's a whole prologue that kind of explains how it's canon, but okay. She writes, the strange events and animation style used in the Wind Waker game has made a lot of fans question whether or not the events of the game are part of the main canon. Common questions speculate on whether or not the game is part of the main timeline, if that is just the same sentence again, or one of the other timelines, whether or not the Link seen in the game is the Link that we have followed through other games, or if he's a relative or another game entirely, and if the animation style is indicative of the fact that this game occurs in another dimension, a post-humorous world, or in a dreamlike state. Though those all sound far-reaching, they are not a foreign thing to the series. So like you have to play the game for like. No, you don't even have to play the game. You have to sit through the opening prologue cutscene before you start playing the game to understand how this game fits in the timeline. Like it very clearly spells it out for you. I don't think this person got that far in the game. They probably they watched a trailer. They looked in the menu maybe. They started it and they're like, "Oh, there's a prologue. It's too long. I'm not playing this game." Like it's very obvious how it fits in the timeline. And also this is not a person who knows a lot about Zelda, because they say whether or not this is the Link seen in the other Zelda games. It's like, that's which one? like by the time we got to Wind Waker, we've had what, 3 other Links already? He's like the 4th Link in the.
Yeah, if you're going by the
This is-
timeline.
Yeah, but I mean, like in order of release, like you have Zelda 1 and 2, that's one Link, right? You got a Link to the Past, the Oracle games, and Link's Awakening, that's one Link. You have Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, that's another Link, right? So now we're just getting to like where Wind Waker's being released. We already have 3 different incarnations of Link,
Yeah.
and this is the first item on the list, guys. Oh.
All right, CC, would you like to read out
Please
yours?
take us away from this one.
Okay, so the one that stood out to me was honestly the one right after that. What happens to our failed games? I think that's looking a little too deep into a video game, because you can die in any video game, and doesn't mean it applies to the story. But I will say,
Mhm.
I did play Nier Automata, and I really liked that they said that that game had like 20 million freaking endings, because when you die, they technically added an ending to it saying, alright, you failed, now the game is like it gives an ending to the story when you die. So I thought that was kind of cool. Reminded me of
Wow.
that.
Man, that is
Yeah.
cool.
So every time you die in a specific area, it'll say you failed to do this and this and this, so the robots take over, and yeah.
Do you want?
So I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of cool.
That
But
is cool.
With Zelda, I don't think Nintendo put that much thought into like when you die. You just,
Yeah.
No, it's just like game
It's a
over
game.
screen.
Yeah, game
I
Like,
over.
think
it's
they've
just-
seen the hero dies, or the fallen hero timeline, and then it's like,
That's
well,
what I
what
was
if that
thinking.
applied to
Yeah.
every single game?
Yeah,
But
I
you
was
can't
thinking,
just look at a JPEG of some extra supplementary material for a video game franchise and write an article saying that it doesn't make any sense if you lose in a video game.
I know, that's why it stood out to me. I was like, that's a lot of thought into just game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, I lost. It makes no sense. Right?
So mine
Well,
here.
Even now there's an alternate universe.
Number 20 on this list says fan theory, reincarnation. In the earlier entries of this article, I discussed the fact that the multiple games in the series indicate some sort of immortality or reincarnation. Well, this was not a unique idea. In fact, it is a rather popular fan theory. It's not a fan theory. This is one of the things that they have explained since, like, there started being different Links. Many fans believe that Link, Zelda, and Ganon are reincarnated between games, and as the sentient representations of the Triforce, will be drawn to each other in whatever way that occurs for the rest of time, or until the fourth piece is found and their reincarnation to souls can rest.
There is no fourth piece.
I had never even heard a theory where someone said that a fourth Triforce piece would stop the reincarnation.
I never heard this either. And also, like...
And the first sentence mentioned, like, says that they're all either immortal, so they live throughout the entire timeline, which...
Yeah, but sometimes he de-ages back to a child, I guess.
Well, it was, like, earlier in this, like, they had mentioned that, like, that I don't know, like, the games aren't connected or whatever. So it's like... he's wrong either way, but based off of something that he had mentioned earlier where it's like different links, why does he mention the immortality thing? And then he doesn't even explain that part of his paragraph. He just explains the second thing that he mentioned, the reincarnation.
Yeah. For those wondering as well, like, this article is not an old one. Sometimes we've dug up some old dirt.
Yeah, this was
looking
like
through these
this
lists.
Month.
This is a new article. This is from April 2019. This is a new article.
Wow, what?
This, like, it's not like one from 2005 where we didn't have a lot of information about this stuff. Like, no, this is some new stuff.
I feel like these are all from, like, new Zelda fans, new to the franchise, new to the timeline, because we've seen the timeline like a million times. We've seen the explanations like a million times.
So take us to the next one, Daniel, and then CC will get the last.
Okay.
And then that'll be our top 5 on this.
Okay, so this is number 19 on the list of things that make no sense. Established character designs. Oh boy. No matter what timeline or universe it is, Link is always blonde, pale, and has his little Peter Pan-esque outfit, though the colors have been known to shift over time. This has caused many fans to question the idea of whether or not there are truly separate universes or whether the timeline simply diverged each time a main choice or action was made, and the splits all run parallel. This second idea makes the most sense, though it later leads to confusion over whether each Link and the world around him has any memory of the events that transpired previously in their relative timeline, whether or not they were able to jump through timelines in the future. So basically, this isn't a list of things in the Zelda series that makes no sense. This is a list of sentences that this author came up with that make no sense.
No, I love how he said, like, this can't be it because this other one makes more sense, and then, like, none of them make sense.
No. Okay, the thing is, like, his character design is different between games, so him saying it's the same between games and that makes no sense is janky already. And then, like, yeah, there are parallel timelines. We already know that. And yeah, the world and the characters know about the history of the world that's happened. Like, how does it not make sense that they would like
even in Wind Waker, or all of them, not all of them, but a bunch of them, when they give him the green tunic, they're like, this was the legendary.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, he coincidentally has a green tunic also.
Right? And so many of the games make reference. Yeah, they like make reference to previous links or even just the game that came directly before it in the timeline, right? It's like, you can't play these games and not find any and just be like, oh yeah, well, this character looks kind of the same as this character that was in another game. That makes no sense.
Oh, we have a super chat from
Oh.
Undead Witch requesting for CC to feed them. Or her.
Feed.
I don't know. It has witch,
I'm
so
the
I
witch.
imagine
That's my
it's a girl.
homie.
Oh, that's one of your friends. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Can Cece feed me? You kind of
Feed.
are.
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed me, Seymour.
Picto9 says, I play drums and Jesse should start a band. Let's do it, Jesse. Let's start a band.
I'll play the ocarina.
Oh, yeah. I'll play the Wind Waker.
Yeah.
I'm not actually playing.
I'll direct you guys.
I'm just here waving a stick around.
Making a windstorm outside, but we're good.
Oh, yeah, we good. I'm playing the wind.
Yeah. Were you done with yours, Daniel?
Oh yeah, that was. It's just very frustrating that this article exists.
All right,
I really. Let's move on.
Yeah, give us our
All
last one.
This one made me laugh. Makes no sense. Is Link doing all right?
Which number is this? This is the very next one. That's how ridiculous it is. We haven't even scrolled past number 18.
Like, bro, you good? You good? Homie?
Are you all right?
You doing all right? If Link does remember the events of previous games, is he doing okay?
No,
Honestly,
he doesn't remember.
Honestly, he has been through a lot. Give the guy some space and time to recover. Does it drive him up the wall that no matter how many times he saves Hyrule, somehow it ends up broken again? Does he just want to take a vacation from being Link? And not have to feel the pressure of having the fate of the entire world rest on his shoulders? Each and every game he seems entirely unaffected by the previous events of the games, which leads me to believe that he is a reincarnation rather than a continuation. So, the last part is very true. He is a reincarnation, not a continuation.
I
So
mean, it's
yes,
like this
he's doing
person's
okay.
writing this article and they're just figuring out that it's not the same Link, and they're like, oh my god, it's a mind-blowing theory, guys.
Yeah, it's like they only played one Zelda, like they played Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And then none of the others, but they know that other Zelda games come out, so they're like, wait a minute. What if all of these different Zelda games had different Links? Oh my gosh. And then he just runs out of his office. Yeah, he runs out of his office and into the editor's office and he's like, I got this awesome article. What if every Link is a different Link?
But
And again,
we kind of know
if
from
you play one game, they usually hint at this was the previous hero.
Yeah.
You are the new hero.
Oh my goodness.
The only time
we kind of know from previous articles that we've read on this site, though, that whoever the editor or manager of this website is doesn't seem to give a damn.
Yeah.
So the person probably ran in and was like, guys, I got this article idea. Is it what if there's so many things that make no sense in Zelda, and maybe all these are different characters after all.
They don't
and
make
the
sense
guy's like,
you never played the games.
And the editor's just finishing slapping back a shot of whiskey. Just, all right, kids, publish it.
Done. You don't need to research it. Just do it.
Just publish it.
Yeah, I want to see what's on.
Do you want to proofread it first? No.
No.
I'm busy.
You didn't research it? It's okay.
I'm busy. I'm thinking about considering watching the prologue for the Wind Waker, but it's pretty long.
Of course, the number one thing is the stages of grief.
Oh no.
Of course
we're not doing that. We're not doing it. We're not touching that one.
What's the next news thing?
I mean, are we done with this article? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we're done.
We're done. I'm emotionally done from that one.
Alright,
so what's next, Jesse? Take us away.
We'll do the Monolith Soft thing. Because the people that they hired for the Zelda game, they've opened up a 5th studio.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Wait, forgive me. What are we doing?
It's on the Google Doc.
yeah, it's
Where?
Monolith Soft opens a 5th studio.
Oh,
Monolith
there. Okay.
Soft is the team that
Gotcha.
It's a
worked with
company.
Nintendo on Zelda and a bunch of other stuff like Splatoon
They're-
and yeah.
They're a soft company.
Yeah, and like a week or so ago, they were hiring for a new Zelda game or to help on Nintendo's Zelda game. And like a week after they hired those people, they officially opened up a brand new studio. So that new studio could have been made to either work on Zelda exclusively, kind of like what Grezzo's been doing since Ocarina of Time 3D, I guess. But Grezzo's had a few other games. But anyways, I can read this one out, and then Daniel, you can do the retro thing, since that's your baby. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jesse, or Game Over Jesse. Here with us is Daniel and Cece. Today we're going to be talking about Monolith Soft opening up a 5th studio. This news article comes from Nintendo Enthusiast, where their title says Monolith Soft opens a 5th studio with its ballooning workforce. My oh my, Monolith Soft has come a long way since Xenosaga and Baton Kaitos. Forgive me for mispronouncing that. The developer has now opened a new studio in the Osaki district in Shinagawa, Tokyo? In Tokyo, somewhere in Tokyo. This marks the 5th studio following their main Tokyo studio, Nakamaguru GS Studio, Lididashi Studio, and a studio in Kyoto. Wow, I cannot pronounce any of those words except Kyoto.
You nailed Kyoto though. Like
Yeah.
just nailed it.
Headcount has been ballooning at Monolith Soft for a while now, and current estimates put the studio at just over 200 people, in addition to the fact that they might be working on a new Xenoblade. They are also working on the next Legend of Zelda in some capacity. This is a very busy and very successful developer, and it's cause for celebration for Nintendo and RPG fans. Now, like I was saying before we began officially discussing this article, for those who don't know, Monolith Soft were mostly known for the Xenoblade series, which was on the Wii U, the new 3DS, and then the Nintendo
Wii.
Switch.
As well.
Yeah, the Wii.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it? The first one.
yeah, the first one was on the Wii.
Yeah.
But they've also helped Nintendo with a bunch of games, starting with Skyward Sword, and the last one they worked on, I think, was maybe Super Mario Odyssey. I'm not really sure, but they helped on like Splatoon 2, Splatoon 1, a bunch of other Nintendo games, and but most famously, they lent most of their employees to Nintendo to help work on Breath of the Wild. And they recently hired again to work on another Zelda game. And now they're opening this 5th studio. So it makes me wonder if this 5th studio is going to kind of be like Grezzo, to where basically the only thing they work on is Zelda for Nintendo. Like, Monolith Soft is not necessarily owned by Nintendo, but for like the past 10 years or so, or however long, all of their games have basically been on Nintendo consoles. So yeah, it's just something interesting, because if it's a 5th studio opened up specifically to work on Zelda, with it being such a small team, since they have those 200 people spread out to 5 different teams, then that would be enough to help on a Zelda game. But if they were making one on their own, it wouldn't be a big Breath of the Wild like game. It would be a game similar to like Ocarina of Time 3D or Majora's Mask 3D, A Link Between Worlds, to where it's like a way, way smaller game. So they could either be doing a remake of some kind or just a smaller game in general, like Grezzo's been doing, by remaking games. Or we have the new spin-off that's out now, or not out now, but the trailer has been out for a while. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of it. Help me out, Daniel.
Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah. But what was the full name?
I was like Cadence of Hyrule, Tomb of the Necrodancer.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's a long name.
That is
Yeah.
a long name.
So they could be doing something like that, like a small indie-like game. But what are your guys' thoughts? Starting with you, CC. Like, what would you most want this to be? If you could choose. Like, what type of Zelda game would you want? Because like it's not going to be a big Breath of the Wild thing. So would you want like a smaller new 2D game, 2D remake, a 3D remake?
3D remake.
Really? You would want a 3D remake?
Yeah.
Of which one? Which game for the Switch?
I would love Ocarina of Time, but I don't know how likely that is. Like you said, with the spin-off coming out and that other one.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I don't know much about this company, to be honest. Never played Xenoblade. Only played Splatoon a few times in my life. And I mean, I love Breath of the Wild, but like you said, it's probably not going to be anything big.
Yeah. Unless they're helping Nintendo on their big Zelda game, it's not going to be a huge one. But
in terms of what I would expect, I can't really say because I don't know much about this company in general.
Yeah. All right. So Daniel, what are your thoughts on this?
Job opportunities are good, so it's good they're hiring more people. I mean, my assumption is just that they're helping with the next sort of big Zelda game. But if they helped on Skyward Sword, it would make sense for them to be the ones that might move to like a Skyward Sword HD port over to Switch or something. That would be something a lot of people have been asking for. And we're maybe a little almost. I'm still holding on to my prediction from like when we first started the podcast, saying 2021, but
For Skyward Sword HD?
For Skyward Sword HD. I've been saying that since we started this podcast.
So a 10-year anniversary.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, it would make sense if they were to work on something like that. Or even, I don't know. We don't know who's working on Link's Awakening, do we?
No, they haven't announced it officially.
They haven't said it, so I assume someone like Grezzo or Tantalus would be, but I mean...
Yeah, because they only showed off the beginning of the area. Sorry.
Yeah, it's true, so...
Are you guys looking forward to that?
Yeah.
I never played it on the Game Boy, so it'll be my first time.
Oh. Well, that'll be fun, too, but... Yeah. I mean, there's some problems with the Game Boy version. Yeah, just because... mostly just because of the hardware, not the actual...
Yeah, because it only had two buttons, so...
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd only hold two items. So, like, you had to
your
decide.
Sword and Shield.
Yeah, it's like, do you want
count
sword
as items?
Shield, or sword and boomerang, or boomerang and arrow, or candle and boomerang? Like, you have to choose. Like, he doesn't automatically hold up the shield, which I would imagine they would have done because...
But no.
Like, you don't...
Because, like, every Zelda game...
Yeah, you don't tap the button to use the shield, it just stays there.
Yeah.
Right? So...
But not if he actually does put it away if you don't have it equipped.
Yeah, but it could be a thing that's like, it passively works. Like, you don't have to have it...
Like... Oh, you mean like how it works in Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 and The Link to the Past?
Yeah, that way, you, like, the game...
all three of the Zelda games that came out before.
Yeah. That were all made on consoles with two buttons.
Well, Link to the Past wasn't, but... Super Nintendo.
No, that was 4, yeah.
But, yeah. But, plus it had LNR, but you don't really use them for anything.
Yeah.
In A Link to the Past. But, yeah. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited
We know that they fixed that issue for the Switch version, so...
Yeah. And I expect, like, a new Zelda announcement of some kind at E3 as well. Like, whether it's another remake or spin-off or something. I expect something.
I would love a demo of Link's Awakening at E3, but we'll see. We got derailed a little bit.
Yeah, but we're done with this one, so it's all good.
I
So
think
there's
so.
not much to say. Like, they said they were working on a Zelda, or they hired people to work on a Zelda game. Now they're opening up a new studio. So most likely that new studio was opened up to work on the Zelda game they hired the people for.
To work on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense, guys. It's a logic.
Yeah.
It's a logic.
Use
That is one logic.
use common sense, people.
Not everybody
Yeah.
has common sense. So.
That is true. All right. So I guess the Metroid thing, Daniel, if you want to do that. And do you want to stay for the end, CC? Because we just got this one Daniel's going to do, and then Nintendo's statement on no new hardware, and then we're going to end it with the Q&A.
I mean, I can hang out, so I can do Q&A with you guys, but I know nothing about Metroid, just so you guys know. I've never played a Metroid game, ever.
That's cool. It's
I
just
know.
this, it's
That's
literally
okay.
the same story as the last one, except
I don't even know what the story of the last
It's
one is.
retro.
I've never played.
no, I mean the last
Oh, the
article
news
we did.
story. The same news story,
Yeah.
basically.
Because the last
But
one
just
was
change the
Monolith.
names.
Yeah, Monolith Soft was hiring.
What
to
you should
work
do
on
is
Zelda.
just edit it and just like voice over. So every time I say Monolith, just like put in a clip of Jesse just saying Retro Studios, and then we just say the same thing. Re-upload it. Flawless plan. But okay. This is a news article, guys. It comes from Nintendo Enthusiast. It's about Retro Studios. The news articles, the headline, the title is Retro Studios is hiring for Metroid Prime 4 development. And article reads, it was really admirable when, out of the blue, Nintendo published a video admitting Metroid Prime 4 development had failed and they were starting over from scratch. It was also totally crazy when they revealed Retro Studios, the developer of the other Prime games, who probably should have just been working on it from the beginning, would be coming back to help new development. Now, Retro Studios has announced it's hiring more staff to develop this massive game. And then there's a nice little... They shared it. It's a tweet right from Retro Studios saying Retro Studios is hiring. That's a pretty good source for this news.
Yeah.
That's very good. It's a good sourcing. Just if you just so happen to be a world-class developer and you just happen to live in Texas, are willing to relocate to Texas, then hop on that job listing ASAP. Chance to work on a freaking Metroid doesn't just turn up every day, and Metroid Prime 4 is one of the most anticipated games for Switch in spite of it being so early in development. That's the news, guys.
In the chat, Retro says that's right. I'm developing Metroid Prime.
Retro, yes, Retro in the chat. Retro is developing Metroid Prime 4.
He is
That's
the embodiment of Retro. No, so we've been hearing like horror studios about developers that have been rushed to complete games, so they've been like working super amounts of hours,
200 hours of overtime a day.
Yeah, which is great for money, but
sure, man,
for your life, that's kind of sucks.
Kind of bad.
Yeah,
kind of really bad.
So imagine the pressure that Retro Studios is under. That's probably why they're hiring new people, so that they won't have to work 200 hours a week.
That's true.
They're like, hey guys, instead of making 100 people work 200 hours a week, what if we had twice as many people, so we only had to work half as much?
That's still a lot of overtime, 100 hours a week. But
and then they could just take half the money you were going to pay us and give it to someone else so I can go home.
Yay.
Yeah.
Going home is good.
Wild Horse 64, a very great supporter, is in the chat. So glad to see her, especially after her getting out of the hospital for the wreck she was in, right? I don't know when she got out, though. I remember whenever she started doing better, so that was great. But anyways, when do you see this game coming out? If they're hiring people to speed up the process or whatever their reasoning, just when do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, I think we still have a few years out, to be honest. Like, they basically restarted development this year, like, from scratch. So...
Do you think they would have restarted from scratch? You don't think they would have like kept the same character model and everything, and just like redesigned the gameplay?
Maybe. But maybe they came in and Nintendo's like, this other studio was not working out, so Retro, you're on now. It's you guys got the gig, and they're like, great. What do you guys got so far? And Nintendo's like, oh, sorry, we already threw
they
it
made a
out. So
title?
sorry about that.
We have a name.
We got a
Metroid
name. We got a nice splash screen.
It's horrible.
We get the number 4. It's made of space clouds. So
Yeah.
yeah, no. So I don't think. I feel like Retro would start it over from scratch. To be honest, like it maybe seems like more logical to take the scraps of whatever was built and reuse them. But part of me thinks like they would just clean slate and just start like from square one, like concept art and everything, start over.
Yeah.
Because I don't think coming in halfway and sort of half working with someone else's concept and then trying to build your own game from scratch at the same time is their style. You know, I don't think that they would. I don't think it would really work that well. So it's they're probably. I feel like they probably would have just started right from concept artwork, like that level of square one. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know things.
And
I'm
you
not Retro.
Yeah,
So,
you know, Retro's in the chat.
Retro's in the chat.
He says can't spoil anything for you.
No, good. No spoilers.
Yeah, thank you, Retro. Don't spoil any of your games for us.
Yeah.
Cece, so you've never played any of the Metroid games, have you?
No, I
Have you
not.
played as Metroid in Smash Brothers?
Boy.
Maybe a few times on the Nintendo 64, but I don't have Smash on my Switch, so
Oh, okay.
I cry.
It's basically the same as Mega Man. Like one's blue, one's orange. That's it.
I don't know if
Like-
Daniel agrees with you there.
No. Like Mega Man is Metroid's blue cousin. That's basically all you need to know.
Jesse.
We love you too, Daniel.
Also,
Does it-
Tube Lima's in the
Yeah,
chat.
hello, Tubes.
Hey, Tubes. I love you.
How I don't know. Was she done sword fighting? I guess it's 8 o'clock now. How was slaying your foes? She was sword fighting today. For those
Sword
wondering.
fighting?
Yeah, she
Like-
sword fights now.
Like
Yeah.
fencing? Or like...
Like actual swords, not
Yeah,
The
but like
weird
not like
swords.
lessons. Like she like gets a sword and she goes in the street and she goes, "You there!" and just like tosses the sword on the ground so it slides up to the other guy,
Oh, yeah.
and then he's just all like bright-eyed there, and then yeah, it's just it's pretty messy to be honest. Cops are looking everywhere for her.
Well, don't give her away.
wow.
What are you talking about?
She says long swords.
Of all the sports I
And
did
short
as a
swords.
little girl in elementary, fencing was my favorite.
You fenced
But
in
my teacher
elementary
never
school?
showed up, so I had to quit.
They
Oh.
taught you
For
how to
nothing,
sword fight
and I
in
was so
elementary
mad.
school?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I
Fencing's
don't
cool.
even think they let us
I
play
loved
dodgeball in elementary school.
Dodgeball, that's scary. You can get hit in the face.
You
That's
could
true.
get stabbed in
Getting
the
s-
face.
No,
you're
with
wearing
fencing you
that.
wear a thing.
And the sword has like a little ball at the end. And they're bendy, so you've
hmm
Nice.
been hit in the face with a tether ball, with a handball. Saw
Mm.
that. What was it?
Matt wants
There
to
was
know
a
why
fly.
Metroid can't crawl.
I
Wants
was
to know
just
why
not
can't
a very
Metroid crawl?
athletic child.
Because the NES was not technologically powerful enough for them to animate it, so they made ball instead.
Yeah,
They're like, you know what's easier to animate than someone crawling?
we can just make a
A
circle.
ball. Just don't make a circle. Either that, or they're like, he came to work and they were like, hey, how's it coming along animating the character crawling? He's like, that's what I was supposed to be doing? I made a ball, guys.
I thought we were making.
I
a
misunderstood.
basketball game.
I thought you said make him balling, not crawling. I put too much work into this. He's a ball now.
All right. I think we can go to the next. The final news story.
Okay, let's do it. What's the
Someone was
news?
asking about earlier.
Oh yes. Wow, we got a lot of news from Nintendo enthusiasts.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
There was no news for the past week or two, so I just went
I
to.
don't know. They found it. They found some news.
Yeah.
They.
Well, there
sure...
was a lot of news, but none of it was discussion worthy news. It was like what we just did, to where we read the news and that's basically it.
It's like, wow, it just says sure news occurred.
Yeah, and it's the same thing this time. Because it's, yeah. So this piece of news comes from Nintendo enthusiast as well. President Furukawa. There will be no new Nintendo hardware at E3. The article states, "No, you're not schizophrenic or losing your mind. Probably. You're right if you think a new conflicting report is coming out about new Nintendo hardware all the time. The Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg both say a new, cheaper version of the Nintendo Switch will release this year. However, Nintendo President Shantaro, I don't know how to pronounce that, Furukawa has said again per Reuters that Nintendo has no plans to announce a new console at E3. Furukawa added that Nintendo is of course always developing new technology internally, but that's the extent of his comments. Granted, it's always possible the company is just holding its cards close to the vest, or perhaps they are waiting to reveal the cheaper Switch model later in the summer. In any case, I'm really starting to understand that yank your chain metaphor, and I am the chain yanker every time I share one of these contradictory Nintendo hardware reports for you guys. So, sorry." So, yeah. Basically,
the wording is really interesting though, because he's not outright denying it. He's saying Nintendo has no plans to announce a new console at E3.
But what about
That's
a new
very
iteration of a console?
true.
Very general.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a very, I don't know, a very meticulously worded statement, you know?
It's like Reggie.
Purposely general.
There was an interview with Reggie a couple of months ago where he was like, "We're focused on the current Nintendo Switch right now." Mm-hmm. So immediately in your head you're like, so there's going to be another one?
But he can't say that there is, right? That's the thing. So
it's like, hold on, mister.
Yeah. But that's the thing, he specifically says no plans to announce at E3. So that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not going to be a new thing. It just means that they have no plans. Plans can change. And Nintendo sure does like to do that. No plans to announce a new console at E3. And this is the same company that said we were only ever going to get one version of the 3DS, right?
Yeah.
So
Miyamoto
that didn't happen.
Said it was perfect. There's no reason to release a newer version of the 3DS. And then a month later, he's on stage and he's like, "Hey guys, it's the 3DS XL." And
Surprise!
Then the next year you get the new 3DS and the new 3DS XL and the 2DS and So when Nintendo told us there was only going to be one version of the 3DS, we ended up getting 5 more. So you can't always take these guys, and they're not going to announce it there anyway. They're going to wait till they're on stage. They're not going to announce it during.
Yeah, that's the thing too. If they have plans to announce it, they're not going to be like, "By the way, we have plans to announce this super secret thing."
They have a marketing team that they've paid $1 million to figure out the exact right moment to announce it.
Can you imagine though if he was like, "Yes, we're announcing it later this year," then that marketing team is tearing their hair out. They're like, "No!" Why would you say this?
And
why you do this?
The last time they did actually confirm something huge was I want to say they were asked about the new Mario game and something, and Miyamoto was just like, "Yeah, we're working on Super Mario Galaxy 3 and Pikmin 4, and those games just vanished. And that was like 4 years ago.
The developers like he told them delete it, delete files.
Yeah.
No,
Instead,
I
you
think
get
I think Mario.
Odyssey.
I firmly believe Mario Odyssey is Mario Galaxy 3. Like it started as Galaxy 3 and then just evolved into Mario Odyssey. Development went on, but Pikmin, still waiting.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
So do you guys like what? Do you see anything being announced this year? At E3?
Probably. They always drop like a lot of stuff. They drop the E3 bombs. They've been doing really well the last few E3, right?
Yeah.
And like not just they have like their flagship thing, like there's Breath of the Wild and then Mario Odyssey and then Smash Bros. Like what a great 3 years in a row to have that be the king of E3, and like they don't just have this great focus on one awesome thing, but then they have that, and then they also drop like a bomb, like just a wave of information on other stuff. Like if you go back and watch the direct from E3, like there was so much information on tons of games, including and like half an hour spent on like Fire Emblem alone and all this crazy stuff, and but everyone was like, "Oh, Smash Bros," including us. So it's easy to overlook in hindsight because they're so excited for one thing, but like even if there's not like necessarily one big thing that might be coming, they're gonna have a lot of info drop. That's what I think. That's my words.
I remember a couple of years ago, whenever, maybe it was 3 years ago now, whenever they had kind of a letdown of an actual E3 because they didn't announce. There's only like a couple of things that people really wanted to see, which was like Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
Something else.
Was it the Star Fox year?
I don't know.
They had a bunch of stuff and everyone was like, "Where's all this new stuff?" And they're like, "Whoa, we're
No,
Star Fox."
Like this was like they did something kind of like that, but then like as soon as it ended and the Nintendo Treehouse started, they're like, "And here's your Metroid remake for the 3DS."
Oh yeah.
And then everyone's like,
"Why didn't they just announce that?"
Yeah, like why did
They
you
just
not have
showed it.
this at your Nintendo Direct?
And it's such a good game too, and they didn't put it in any of their E3 announcements. They just showed it during the Treehouse later.
And they even made
like,
a special console for it. There was a
They
limited
did.
edition version for it.
It makes no sense.
And Amiibo. They had
Yeah.
a limited edition
They had
console and Amiibo to go with it, and they still didn't announce it at their E3.
two amiibos.
Yeah, that would have
There
been
was
a
Samus
huge
one and a squishy
thing.
Metroid.
Yeah.
It's a squishy.
Do you have the
You can
squishy
squish it.
Metroid?
I do. I've got some in box, and I've got a pair out. Hang on.
You have some in a box? Oh, he's getting it.
I want that much room behind my chair, so as far back as I can go.
That was fun. So there is a box set I kept of the double pack, but you got this nice Samus, who looks awesome, and
I thought that was
Just,
Metroid.
Jesse, and you have the Metroid amiibo, also looks
No.
great and is squishy.
Wow.
it's squishy.
Wait, so what is Metroid?
Metroid's
This
the
is
enemies.
Metroid. This is the Metroid.
Yeah.
It's alien. It's an alien.
Yeah.
I knew her name was Samus, but
Yeah.
I just like to
I thought
joke
maybe
with
this.
Daniel.
I would have believed Jesse if he said that. I'd
Jesse-
been like, "Oh, cool, the suit's called Metroid," and she's
No,
like,
Jesse's trolling. That's the
I
classic
don't know. I've
Jesse.
never played. I would have totally gone out and been like, "Oh yes, I heard the suit."
No, the Metroid is the species of alien.
Okay.
Yeah,
And now you
they're
know, and
space
they like to-
jellyfish.
They are space jellyfish, and they will kill you by eating your brains or something. I don't know. They just
Sounds
suck your life force. That's what Nintendo's
Love
statement.
it.
I'll just put that here. Right
Yeah.
here. There we go.
Life Force vampires.
Yeah.
All right, I think we can go to the Q&A stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
Good.
What is yanker chain? When you said that in the article,
I've
Never
never heard
heard that
that.
phrase before.
You know, like you've never heard that phrase? I've heard
like
that
you're
one.
yanking on someone.
Yeah,
Okay,
you know,
I
you're
get
just
that.
yanking their chain. You're
It was the
taking
way
the tail for a spin.
It was the way in
Like-
the article I
like
didn't
pulling your
understand.
leg.
Yeah, like pulling your leg. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've never heard yank your chain.
Yeah, it sounds a little more
It's unusual to read in a
R-rated.
professional
Yeah, yank
article.
sounds. All right,
Yeah.
all right. Q&A.
Yeah, so everyone in the
Q&A,
chat,
yeah.
queue up your questions for us.
Queue up your cues, guys,
Yes.
and we'll A them.
All
We'll
right.
aid them good.
They'll be so A'd. Send help. I need aid. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Retro in the chat says, I want a new Kid Icarus game. Oh, you know, I tried to play Kid Icarus on the NES on my Switch. NES Kid Icarus. And I came to
we
a
got
realization that it's kind of boring.
Super chat.
Oh, ooh.
Wow.
Yuri Woods.
Love
I
you
love
guys.
you guys.
Too.
I don't have a question, just want to show my support. Thank you so much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What amazing people.
Is there flowers in her hair? I can't tell.
I think that's a filter.
I think it's a filter,
You
yeah.
need a Snapchat filter.
It matches the yellow of the
It
chat box.
does. Looks great.
and the smiley
Sorry.
face blend in. So like it just looks like eyes staring at you.
Eyes and a mouth, eyes and a mouth, eyes and a mouth.
Oh no.
That's perfect.
That's great.
Yes, thank you so much. All right. So,
QYSM.
hello everyone. I am Jesse. We're at Game Over Jesse, here with Daniel and I as our guest, Cece at Princess Usagi. You'll likely see her username above her head or a link in the description below when we have the edited version going up. But this is the Zelda mailbag where we answer your Nintendo or Zelda related questions and we try our best to answer them and not sound ridiculous. So Daniel, do you have a question picked up?
But I will. So, okay. This is one that I pulled out from the Discord. Setterwind, who's in the Discord, asks, is one Zelda game release enough to get you to buy a whole new console if that was the only reason you can think of buying said console? If there were no other good games, would you buy a whole new console just for Zelda?
I bought a Wii U for a new Zelda based off of the tech demo, and I didn't get that new Zelda until I bought the very next console.
Yep.
So I had to wait 4 or 5 years. Yeah, so I bought the Wii U, pre-ordered the Wii U, wanting to play a new Zelda game. And I had to, after pre-ordering the Wii U, I had to wait 4 years and then buy a new console on top of the Wii U. So I would say yes.
I would also say yes, but I bought the Switch just for Breath of the Wild, even though I had a Wii U. But yeah, I mean, the Wii U, though, on that note, is an absolute Zelda machine. You can play nearly every Zelda game on the Wii U. It's incredible. But if you play your eShop cards right.
Even the DS ones.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you can eShop those bad boys. So, but yeah, I totally.
Ocarina from the 64 version on the Wii U. That was hard to control. It's kind of pissing me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I prefer just using Hardware or 3DS for those games, because at least with 3DS they actually like change the button layouts to fit.
Yeah,
They
exactly,
didn't
to
so
fit.
much.
But this one was like a direct like 64 into the Wii U, and all the buttons were different. I was like,
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
doesn't.
want to do made the game so much harder.
Oh no! And playing the Ocarina with using the C stick
Ugh.
doesn't work as well. But I mean, otherwise, you know, you got your Wind Waker HD, your Skyward Sword HD. You can eShop the other games.
Yeah.
It's
I bought
good.
Zelda 2 and Minish Cap on the eShop.
I have Minish Cap on the eShop as
Yeah.
well.
Played
That's
Minish
the
Cap.
first time I played Minish Cap was on the Wii U eShop because I never had a GBA growing up. So that was great to be able to do.
My friend from high school had like hacked into their cell phone and they had Minish Cap on there, so every time I had class with him, I would play Minish Cap at his desk.
Your contraband Minish Cap.
Yeah. Did you have a question picked out, Cece?
Yeah. This is from the doc you have. If you could choose, what?
Oh, I was just saying, Wild Horse in the chat was saying bye. So,
Oh,
bye. Bye. Goodbye, Wild Horse.
see you. All right, so this one is from Abigail G, and it says at Game Over Jesse. If you could choose any champion or champion descendant to have their own spin-off game, which would you choose, and what mechanics do you think would be different from Breath of the Wild?
We never took that
Okay.
one off, did we, Danielle?
Oh, did you guys answer that one already?
Did we
past
answer
one.
that? I don't remember answering that one actually.
Well, I wasn't there, so I can answer it.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
I mean,
and I don't remember, so
Yeah,
We're
go ahead
good.
and answer it.
I would totally pick Urbosa. I think she is a bad A. You know, the whole Gerudo are so heckin' cool.
yes.
I think they would have a cool like backstory. I mean, obviously, and then I think it would be cool to see kind of the backstory of, because she remembers at one point in the timeline that Ganondorf was part of the Gerudo, and she was like, that makes this all the more sweeter. So it'd be cool to see like their kind of them studying their history and everything, and how it connected to him when he was part of the Gerudo, and
Yeah, because she's
their
the only one that
rules,
mentions.
their laws, their what?
I said she's the only one that actually mentions that Ganon used to be part of their
Mhm.
tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I see a puppy.
that's my logo. My parents said she's excited.
That's a floofy puppy.
She's getting a haircut tomorrow.
Ah.
I'll be right back though. She wants to go out there.
Alright.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Well, I guess I'll choose a game too. What's a video game? A champion. Urbosa's a good choice.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That's the one that
I
I
still-
remember answering. So,
Oh yeah.
like, I remember my answer was Gerudo, but at least I think. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I want to. I've talked about it on the podcast many a times. I think wanting this little RPG style spin-off where you have a party of like the champions. They're a great, well-rounded group of characters that could make a great party for an
Yeah.
RPG game.
That would be great.
I would love that.
Like 4 Swords Adventures, but it would be like 4 champion adventures.
That'd be game for that though. You know, that would be super cool. And you know, like they could all have their own classes. But like they were at like Borderlands. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, Borderlands 3 got announced, so it's kind of fresh on my mind thinking about it. But like you've got your 4 characters who are like different classes, and just think about that. I'm just bumping things. That sort of idea, but with the champions in Breath of the Wild. Super cool. My answer's cop out. I just choose all of them.
It's interesting that like a Goron is literally a giant volcano person that eats
I am
rocks.
Rockman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then Urbosa for me is still the most intimidating.
Intimidating?
Yeah.
How so? Floofy.
Just the way that she acts in the game, she just seems like she's the most intimidating. Like attitude wise. And yet you have like I guess Mifa, I don't think anyone would find her intimidating, but
Till she skewers you.
yeah.
With her trident.
But like even Rivali that can fly and like,
Poseidon's tree.
has perfect aim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just kind of like
Like,
stuck up.
someone he can like that would be one that could like kill you before you would even see him, because he would be up in the air and most people wouldn't think to look up, they would just look around them.
Yeah,
But
I guess
Urbosa's
Urbosa, if she killed
still-
you, she would knock you on your knees and hold her sword to your throat before before killing you.
It's
She would rub it in your face a little.
It's just her attitude. I don't know.
All right.
Because like
All
even
right.
Zelda has a bunch of mean moments to where she's like yelling at Link and stuff, but Urbosa just like, I don't know, something about her that's like, I would probably be friends with her, but I still think that like if she asked you for a favor, or like if you're at the gas station, she's like, hey, can I have 50 cents so I can get this candy bar, and you tell her no, then you're gonna have a crappy life for the rest of the week. Yeah.
Oh no.
So I guess it's my question now.
Yeah.
Lorulian Historian asks, barring Hyrule Historia and Encyclopedia's interpretations of the series timeline for a moment, and knowing that it's subject to change, do you think there's enough evidence to warrant a solid connection between Four Swords Adventures and A Link to the Past on the Game Boy Advance? He says, personally, I believe that there is, but I would love to hear your opinions on the matter.
I'm so glad we finally got to this question. We've had this in the mailbag for weeks.
Yeah, so those are two games that don't connect, but were they originally created to connect?
Yes. Well,
Because they
not
were
A Link
on
to
the
Past,
same
but
cartridge, but they weren't like sequels of each other.
when Capcom was making the Four Swords games, specifically Four Swords Adventures, they were originally designing it to be like a prequel to A Link to the Past. And in A Link to the Past's GBA version, there's the extra dungeon, the Palace of the Four Swords, and the Four Sword is in there and it's broken. So you find like the broken Four Sword in that dungeon. And anyways, there I think there is some potential for it to work out.
Yeah.
But I think I need to play more Four Swords Adventure.
I would say it.
I don't think I've ever played that one.
It's hard for me to think that if a game studio is chosen to port an older game to a new device, and they're also told to make an accompanying smaller game to go along with it, I would imagine that the story of the game wouldn't be intended to be on its own. I would imagine they would intend it to be related to the new game, especially if they add new stuff to the game that they ported, and that new stuff ties it in to the other game. So I would say yes as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you.
Oh, sorry.
What do you think?
Wait, to pick a question or answer?
Wait,
what are your
we
thoughts
got
on
this
this
wrong.
one?
He says Four Swords Adventures.
Yeah, well, that's what I said.
That's the
I
GameCube
said.
one.
Yeah,
I was
But when
talking
they
about
were-
the Game Boy Advanced one,
true. But I talked about the GameCube game.
because I was talking
Four Swords
about how it's on
Adventures.
the same cartridge. So I'm an idiot. I apologize, everyone.
Oof, it's okay.
I'm
But
the one
I
that
mean,
read the
I think your
question.
point is valid because they made Four Swords and then they made Four Swords Adventure later,
Yeah.
and I feel like they were making it and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be a prequel to Link to the Past," and then Nintendo was like, "No," and they're like, "Oh, okay, it's just separate, I guess."
Yeah.
But
So you haven't played either of the Four Swords games, CC?
Nope. Or Link. Oh well, I played A Link to the Past actually, on Game Boy Advance. But that was like, I wasn't super dedicated to that game because I was like in elementary and it was kind of hard. So I just played when I was in the car.
The difficulty of that game, like, when you get to the Dark World, for me, the difficulty kind of doubles unless you went around collecting a bunch of stuff before you go to the Dark World.
right.
But that was just me. So I can see it being hard.
I never played the GBA version though, so I never got to play Four Swords or the GBA version of A Link to the Past.
It's not as good.
Only the
You got
SNES
like
version.
footsteps and then the voiceover from Ocarina of Time and stuff.
Yeah, I never liked. My friend had it, and I remember not liking that about it. But he had a Game Boy Advance SP, and I remember I really wanted one because I really liked the clamshell design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never used that design ever again.
Never. They never used it again. They never made a folding handheld console
No.
after that. That was the very last one.
Yeah. So do you have any final thing to say on that, CC? And then Daniel, you can get the next question.
No, I don't, because I've never played Four Swords. I don't really remember A Link to the Past, so in terms of the timeline, I don't know anything about
All
them
right.
together.
So Daniel will do this question, and then CC, you could pick the last question. So.
Okay.
So if anyone in the chat has a question for CC, you better get it up before Daniel finishes.
Okay, so this is actually a great question. Waymouth18 asks, question for the Zelda mailbag. What do you think is the most just mediocre Zelda game? So not like bad, just mediocre. I hate to throw it under the bus. Phantom Hourglass. It's not a bad game. It's just mediocre. And Spirit Tracks is better.
I would say Phantom Hourglass, but since you picked it, I'm going to say
we can share.
Minish Cap, because
Ooh, those fighting words.
I don't like the part, like the entire phase of the second dungeon, I think it is, where you have to climb up the mountain and then you have the dungeon with all of the
like the minecarts? Yeah, I think you talked about not liking the minecarts before. Yeah.
But I think it's just because I've done it so many
pieces.
times. I've just played through that dungeon so many times that it's not fun for me anymore. And since it's one of the beginning dungeons, you have to do it to get to the others. So, yeah. What about you, CC? What Zelda game for you is just bleh?
Not bad, just mediocre.
That's hard to say because I didn't play like Phantom Hourglass or.
No one blames you.
All the games I did play, I really loved, and they were mostly like the main console games, like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, like all of those. Like I really love them, so I'm having a hard time trying to think of one.
Zelda's too good at a series.
I guess the closest I can think of would be the Triforce Heroes.
That is a very mediocre Zelda game.
I forgot about Triforce Heroes. Yeah,
it was cute. It had funny moments, but it was alright. I was like, yeah, alright.
Yeah. I think it would be at its most fun if you're in the room with the people that you're playing with.
Yeah, like you and 3 friends are having like a vacation, like you're at like E3 or something, and hanging out together.
Is this a hint?
I mean, what? What do you
mean? Those for us commercials of hanging out with your friends and plugging in your Game Boys together.
Yeah.
I didn't have a GBA to play Four Swords.
Everyone in the chat now saying Minish Cap is great, Minish Cap is good, and then arrows. Gabriel saying so true. I think I offended some people.
I think so. I think you did.
I
really like Minish Cap, guys, so you can just follow my YouTube channel instead of Jesse's.
Follow me.
Oh no, but yeah, I think Triforce Heroes is a pretty reasonable answer. Actually, I never finished it because I never played that one with anyone. I tried playing it by myself, and I was like, okay. Guess this is the second Zelda game I'm not finishing ever because it's a multiplayer one and I have no one to play with.
Yeah.
Rip.
So, Cece, do you have the final question?
I'm looking.
Wow, it's only been an hour and a half. Crazy.
What? Slow news week. That's why.
Yeah.
Low news week.
It's because we had 2 of the same stories.
Some of these first questions are like, I'm assuming from new Zelda fans, because one of them is, can you please in your next video tell me how Hyrule was born and how it became a kingdom, please? I love your videos. I subscribe.
The answer is just play Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
Just
Sword.
Yeah.
play that game.
Can't spoil it for you.
All your questions will be answered.
Same with the second one
Maybe.
after that. That looked like well, I don't know if I'd say a new Zelda fan, but it was discussed a lot, especially when people were speculating from the trailers of Breath of the Wild. It says, "Is the Great Plateau a castle?" I think that was the Temple of Time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which kind
Well,
of
at
looks
least
like a castle.
the Temple of Time is on the Great Plateau. But yeah,
Yeah.
this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're thinking because there's the walls around the Great Plateau.
Or maybe.
But I mean, it's definitely like a landmass. So I mean,
Maybe they meant on the Great Plateau. I don't think
I don't
they
know.
meant
Yeah, like
the Great Plateau.
I don't think they
Just the
built
land.
they built this castle and then they just like filled it with dirt and land and then built like a very natural mountain with a river on it. You know,
I'm pretty sure they meant the building on.
right? That makes more sense. But
I'm pretty sure
I
that
might
was
be wrong.
a Temple of Time. Wasn't there like multiple areas that could have been connected to the Temple of Time?
Well, in Skyward Sword, there was like the Seal Temple, and then the other Temple of Time in Skyward Sword too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
It
yeah,
goes for walks between games, and then
yeah,
that's why it's at different
And then-
it
locations.
kind of breaks down in Twilight Princess, and then for Breath of the Wild, it kind of builds up a little bit more again. So
Yeah, but I remember like when the trailer first came out and they were showing the Great Plateau, people saw the fountain, and one of the biggest speculations for that or thoughts was that, oh, that was the same fountain in Ocarina of Time in front of the Temple
Yes.
of Time, in the Hyrule Castle town. So
Yeah.
people were assuming it was a castle, but once we played it, it looked more like a temple.
but I think Zeltic had a really good video on too, on the whole Castle Town theory, because there's like the archway as well.
Yeah.
I want to go. I think I might go watch this video again. Bye, guys.
But the whole map
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, now my camera's not loading.
Well.
I took this joke too far. Oh, I'm back.
Welcome back. Yeah, but the whole map for Breath of the Wild is just scattered. Once it was like fully released, it was hard to say this was here, this was here, this was here, because then there were so many things that would either make sense with that or contradict that. So
Totally, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of like geography-based theories, anyways. So
I'm
just
not
going to
either.
agree.
Yeah, because the thing is the geography changes so much between games that it's like you can't.
Yeah.
Unless like they've got like the most unstable like tectonic plates.
Yeah, like they have Lake in one game,
like
Lake Hylian will be in like the bottom left of the map, and then it'll be in like the bottom right, and then like in Breath of the Wild, it's like
in the middle bottom area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just like there's some like overlapping things. Like Death Mountain's usually at like the top right of the map, and often Hyrule Castle's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, and even
But
Ocarina
beyond
of
that,
Time
like-
and Twilight Princess, like Death Mountain, and then the village beside it. Like in both
the
games, it
Kakariko
has the
village.
village beside it, but then like the village from Ocarina of Time, that was Kakariko Village, which was the original Kakariko Village. Now all of a sudden it's like on the other side.
Oh, like
And now
across
there's-
the Elden Bridge somehow, and like
and now the
Yeah.
new, like the new Kakariko Village is taking its place, but
hmm
the Kakariko village that used to be beside, like, it's weird.
Yeah, it moved, so that's why they had to build the new one.
Yeah, it's
They're
like,
like, our village moved. Oh no.
or like the mountain, the volcano just like went down and came back up somewhere else.
Yeah, that's probably it. It's like a mole volcano, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, there's some similarities, but like you just have to kind of,
Yeah, it's like Castle
kind of look
Town.
past it.
In Ocarina of Time, Castle Town's like at the top of the map. In Twilight Princess, it's like in the very
dead in the
center.
middle. Yeah.
What?
You cut out completely.
I did. Oh, Ocarina of Time was saying Lon Lon Ranch is like dead center of the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, they built the castle on top of it later.
That's the Great Plateau.
That's the Great Plateau there.
There you go. Answered your question.
Yeah, the wall around the Great Plateau is just the wall that used to be around Lon Lon Ranch.
Yeah. Now the Lon Lon Ranch that you see in Breath of the Wild, that's
new
that's a
Lon
different
Lon
one.
Ranch.
That's the new one. Because they're like, they built a castle on the ranch. We gotta. But
It's all Ingo's fault.
totally, evil Luigi.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, geography-based theories, you gotta really just not do that. It's too, like there's gonna be overlap, but it's gonna be it just changes too
You just
much
need to
between the NES, Hyrule, and like everything else.
Yeah, like Nintendo's exact words was the geography or the different areas in the Zelda games change from game to game because they don't want it to be boring. And that's it. It's not because of some huge lore or theory. It's just they don't want the game to be boring.
I mean, can you imagine playing every Zelda game with things in the exact same place? Like how much you want to explore?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the one time they did make it the same was with the Link Between Worlds, but at least they waited like over 20 years to do it. So there's a nice gap between. So it was like revisiting an old friend. So
I think.
Yeah.
Is that everything? Yeah.
I guess so.
All right, good. Yes. So, Cece, thank you for joining. For all of those who are watching that may not know who you are, go ahead and let them know and tell them where they can find you.
I am Cece. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram as Princess Usagi _. And then on Twitch, I stream as Princess Usagi XO. Like hugs and kisses.
And Daniel, who are you?
I'm Daniel. I'm a man of many names according to the chat today.
Gergerson.
I'm Daniel. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch and my YouTube channel. Also, they're all Capt Bergerson, CaptBurgerson. I know how to spell my own username, right? Capt Bergerson.
There's a Widest Kids You Know joke where they're making fun of Saturday Night Live. So, like, I don't know, like, because, like, they had, like, Adam Sandler, and then, like, I don't know, I'll send it to you, it's really, they keep on, like, it ends up to where they're saying, like, Sandy Sandberg, and, like, a bunch of other stuff, because, like, there was many different people on Saturday Night Live that had, like, rhyming names, and then they just started making up gibberish names, and it sounded
This
like
sounds about right.
It's like, yeah.
Sandy Damberg.
Yeah, that was probably one of them.
Great, love it. But yes, follow me on all those platforms at Capt Bergerson. I swear that is how it's called. And yes, that's all I got.
All right,
I got easy.
Thank you everyone for watching. Comment your questions below if you
Jesse, who are you? You didn't tell them.
They're already watching. They know.
They don't. What if they don't know how to find your YouTube channel? Sorry.
Are you really?
Everything is Game Over Jesse. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, everything. / or at Game Over Jesse.
Matilda.
Put your questions below for us to answer them next week, and thank you all for watching. Bye.
Bye.